You keep hiring people or agencies, you don't see the results, and you end up cycling through them again and again. You're wasting time and money. Let me show you how to turn that around. Most people are micromanagers, and they are essentially trying to look over the shoulder of their team to figure out, are they doing a good job? On the other extreme is the idea of passive income, where you're just getting, mailbox money, as they used to call it in the old days, where it's just you're collecting checks. Now, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, that's probably unrealistic, right? You might sell your business and turn it into some kind of passive asset, which spits off a dividend or some kind of check, but there's no such thing as truly passive income if you're actually owning a business, because one way or another, maybe even you're on the board of directors, you still are doing something, but it's gradations. And it is an exponential curve between somewhat passive on the board, I'm an owner, all the way up to I'm an operator, I'm dealing with everything. So there is a big spectrum, but the question is, what's the right level of founder involvement at which stage? At the beginning, when you're just starting out and it's you, maybe a co-founder, tiny team, you're going to be doing everything. But the question is, how quickly can you get that out of your head and into other systems to have other people do the things that they're genius at and you're not? So you're going to have a decreasing level of direct involvement in terms of like the hands on the keyboard, or work with your hands versus work with your brain. And your goal to get to hands-free, in the way that I use hands-free, is you're not actually touching something to do something. You've got people who will actually do it, and you're abstracting one layer where you're going to be able to say, I know what needs to get done, but I'm not going to be the who that does the thing. Again, whether it's a outsourced agency of some sort, whether it is a staff member, whether it's an AI, it doesn't matter, but you're not doing the doing, because the doing is one of the low value tasks. And what the higher level tasks are is understanding how you architect the business machine in order to have enterprise value. And the higher you move in that stack, frankly, the less you find yourself doing, because as the organization grows, you've got people, systems doing things, and you are there at the architect level rather than actually as a cog in the machine. Most entrepreneurs tend to be micromanagers because they don't really know how to let go. And it might be perfectionism on their part because the company is their baby, or it might be that they don't really know how to manage people, which I've been guilty of for probably the first third of my career. And a part of that comes from the idea that the person who's doing the job is there to do a specific thing. You feed in the work through the food slot and the work gets done, and that's it. On the other hand, the way that you can develop people to not need to micromanage is to give them a heuristic, give them a set of guidelines and rules about how to make decisions, not give them necessarily a prescribed punch list of here's what you have to do. And you can do that. And for some things, if you're making burgers, maybe that's what you need. But if it's that simplistic, then a machine can probably do it in this day and age. If it takes more judgment than that, then it's partially about saying, here's what the output needs to look like, but it's also making them understand, how do you make a decision when there's ambiguity? What are the rules to make a decision? So for instance, in my companies, I don't fire somebody if there's a bad outcome. If they used a good thinking process to get to that outcome, they've done their job. I don't always get great outcomes. It's not everything is a shining success. But if I use the best decision-making process to get there, that's consistent with the company goals, that's consistent with the company's values, then I know that I've done the right thing, and I can only expect the same from them. So if I can instill on them how I think about a problem and how they attack that problem and how they work with their coworkers and the technologies they're using to solve problems, then that's what gives real leverage. Because they don't need to run to me for an answer. They already are equipped with how should they think about the problem, and they can come to me with a proposed solution, perhaps, if they're a lower level team member, or a higher level team member might come and say, I did this, I got this result, here's what I'm doing next. So it's gradations of that, but the difference is night and day, because I'm not micromanaging. I'm not reviewing their work and saying, you did this, change this, because that just treats them like a robot, and that doesn't tap into what a really good team member does or should do, which is make a judgment call that is consistent with how you would have made the judgment call. Team management is what determines the life or death of your business. Without a strong team, you'll be stuck doing everything yourself, and that is the worst way to grow. Fortunately, I've got you covered with this free, in-depth, step-by-step hiring guide, packed with 25 years of hiring experience distilled down into 49 minutes. Click here to make sure you never make a bad hire again.